follow along with you a little bit behind me now this time. Again, you do have space for a second phone number. The landlord information is only used if this person is a renter, obviously, but you can put landlord information in here if you want to deal with a renter. The system determines duplication based on name and address, both. So you shouldn't really, if the head of household is consistent, you shouldn't be able to get a duplicate for someone. Now again, on this one, if it was a rental property, I could put in the landlord's name and contact information.
So every time you put in a add client and you're done with that, you have to always go back to that little back menu, the little back bar. That's what that little back bar for is, per client.
Well, so you have the main menu, which I'm sitting at right now.
Right.
And then we have the client-specific menu over here. And as soon as you add a record, it assumes you're going to want to process that client. You could immediately, as soon as it switches to this screen, hit the back arrow and then add another basic client info record.
Oh, okay.
You
If you don't have all of that information.
If you don't have all that in it. So if you're just doing a very quick intake, let's say, from a phone, and you're not going to do the detailed information.
Right.
You just want to get the record in, so you've got a record of the person.
Uh-huh.
You can just do the basic info. When you hit the add, you're going to switch over to this screen. You can immediately hit the back to go back to the main screen.
Oh, okay.
So this is just how you get to the client info. So I can show you that here in a second, if you want to see it. So I'm going to put in my my landlord here. And again, the landlord may be completely out of state, so the landlord may be in Boston. Yeah, so I can have the landlord be completely out of state. And again, in this case, I could say that they're SSI, so they're categorically eligible. Building type's going to be say maybe a single-family rental site. Primary heating source is going to be oil. And I save that. I think I filled everything out. So as soon as I save it, now I've popped over to the client screen.
Right.
Assuming that I would want to continue to process this client. But again, if I'm just processing a form or a phone call, what I might want to do is just go hit the back right away and go back to the main screen. And then I could go ahead and do another, go ahead and add another client. So I can just keep adding clients. Now when I do get the more detailed information about my client, Johnny Appleseed, what I would do is click on the client list. This lists all the clients in my agency at this point. I have 2 pages worth of clients. I have 14 clients. That's a very small number. You'll end up with several hundred clients usually on your client list. So it makes sense to sit here and say I want to look by whatever I know. So I know it's J, and then maybe I know it's Johnny Appleseed, so maybe John App, and I can search on that, and it brings up my record here for Johnny Appleseed. And the record ID will always be highlighted like a link, like a regular link in a web page, and you just click on that link, and it will take you to that record. So I click on that. Again, what it does is it brings me to the client info record, and it automatically switches me to the client intake menu. All right. Yes, ma'am.
In that client list screen, there's an option to the right hand side for delete.
Mm-hmm.
But what circumstances would you delete that?
You won't. The normal menu that you will see as a normal user won't have that button on it. Okay, again, these are training users. They're all set up as agency managers which have expanded rights. And we normally, actually, we normally don't even let agency managers delete records. We just did it this time just for the training program. In case somebody's really screwed something up, we could just delete it. But normally, the state reserves the right to delete a client, and it can only be done at the state level. So, do we have any questions about putting any of the information in here? Any of the client info? I made mine categorically eligible, so I don't have to worry about what I put in here for the some of the other things. But I'm going to put in my fuel usage for heating. Same name. By the way, if they actually have primary and secondary heating sources, so for example, the primary heating is an oil furnace, but they have supplemental propane or supplemental gas or that, you can actually add additional fuel usage records if you want the additional different types of utility accounts they might have. These are strictly though for utilities, where you would be buying from a utility because you have to pick a utility. There aren't too many wood utilities out there that I'm aware of that still use wood for your woodworking stuff. So you can add that in, and the family record here. I'm just going to fill out the family record for the head of household. Unemployed. Disabled. Veteran.
Yes.
Widow. So I save that, and now I do the income screen for this person. Social Security. And set up all their documents. In this case, because it's a renter, I would have to say that the landlord agreement is complete. And so now we have an eligible client again. We kicked up to eligible. So if everybody's done, everybody has an eligible client at this point, we can kind of go ahead and get started on the next phase. Any other questions about client intake? So is everybody sitting at a screen with,
Oh, okay.
I'm not sitting at the right.
Where eligible is, right there.
Go back to Johnny. So we should all be sitting at this screen right now, okay? You're all sitting at client info screen with the priority level equal to eligible. All right. So that was quick. Good. So if we don't have any other questions about client intake, we're going to go ahead and move on to this process right here.
you do this?
Sunscreen.